Hello and welcome to another installment of the Studio Theater Tierra del Sol's virtual play reading series. I'm Nathaniel Nemi, the director of today's piece. Before we get started, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to everyone working so hard to put these together, and a big thank you to our cast for sharing their time and talents. Please join us for a talk back on our Facebook page after this production, and be sure to check that page for all the updates on all the exciting things that we're bringing to you online. And now let's meet the cast of Cosmo St. Charles is Dead and Someone in This Room Killed Him. We have Roxy.
Hi, I'm Roxanne Schrieberger, and I'm reading from the Netherlands, and I'm playing Mac.
We have Sean.
Hi, my name is Sean Cullen Carroll, coming to you from Manhattan, New York City, and I am playing Cosmo St. Charles.
Rachel.
Hello, my name is Rachel Whittington. I'm playing Avis, and I am an actor and arts administrator in South Florida.
Alejandro.
Hi, my name is Alejandro Guevares. I'm playing the role of Dutch, and I'm an actor based in Orlando, Florida.
Lily.
Hello, my name is Lily E. Garnett. I'm coming to you as an actor from Orlando, Florida, and I'll be reading for Imogene.
Valea.
Hello, my name is Valea E. Woodbury, and I am reading from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm reading Victoria.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. I'm going to let you go to places, and you folks at home, grab a drink, grab a friend, sit back, relax, and enjoy Cosmo St. Charles is Dead, and Someone in This Room Killed Him. Cosmo St. Charles is dead, and someone in this room killed him. A murder mystery memory play by NICOLE ZIMMERER. Scene 1.
I do a lot of things I'm not proud of in this life. I lie, I cheat, I take longer than I need to in the single-stall bathroom just to see the next person in line squirm. That's the life I chose. I see things that would make your grandmother cry herself to sleep every night for the rest of her life, however long that might be. I expose the deepest, darkest secrets of humanity. I get to the truth of the matter, even if it destroys lives and ends in bloodshed. I've taken down everything from cheating lovers to corrupt governments, and I'm damn good at it. That's why I charge so much. However, every hard-boiled dick's got that one case. The one case that they can't seem to shake no matter how hard they try. And you can bet your Aunt Virginia I've got mine. The murder of Cosmo St. Charles, well-renowned archeologist and academic, died of mysterious causes in his own home while he was hosting an out-of-character dinner party, shocking everyone in attendance, such as Victoria Devereaux St. Charles, the victim's wife.
I just can't think why anyone would do this, Detective. I just can't. My Cosmo would never hurt a fly. Well, he would, but purely for scientific advancement.
Ava St. Charles, the victim's niece.
Uncle Cosmo always looked out for me, and I looked out for him. That's what families do. They look out for each other.
Imogene Winthrop, the victim's research assistant.
Professor was acting strange lately, but not strange enough for this.
And Dr. Dutch Ralston V, one of the victim's colleagues.
The living room of Cosmo and Victoria St. Charles. It's a nice house, comfortable, upper middle class. There are wingback chairs, a chaise lounge chair, books on the coffee table, a coat hanger, a decanter of dark liquor with a couple glasses. This is a house of an academic with a light feminine touch. A radio sits in the corner next to a rotary phone and a clock. An exotic-looking plant is stationed in the corner. Everything is in order, very clean.
The crime of the century, they called it. And looking back, maybe it was. No one really knows how it all went down. So, I'm here to tell you exactly what happened that night.
Scene 2.
The facts were these. On Wednesday, March 15th, St. Charles came home in a frenzy. He told his wife, Victoria, that they were hosting a dinner party on Friday, March 17th at 7:30 p.m. This was a very odd thing for St. Charles to say. He did not like parties of any sort. It was one of the things that his wife found tiresome about him. When Victoria asked him why they were hosting a dinner party on Friday, March 17th at 7:30 p.m., St. Charles just smiled and told her not to worry. All she had to do was to cook her mother's pot roasts and he would handle the rest. Before she could point out the fact that he didn't like parties of any sort and that this fact was one of the things she found tiresome about him, he locked himself in his study for the rest of the night. Which leads us here. Friday, March 17th, 7:21 p.m. The night of the party. The last party Cosmo St. Charles would ever attend.
Victoria enters. She sets down a cheese plate on the coffee table and freezes.
The facts were these. Victoria St. Charles was born to a wealthy family in Goldman, South Carolina. Population 3,225. Wanting more than what a life in Goldman had to offer, Victoria went off to college, a choice that Victoria's father, the Honorable Buchanan Buck Devereaux, never could understand. She met her future husband at the local haunt. Cosmo was in town visiting a former colleague / ex-lover at the time. They were married within the year. 3 days into the marriage, Victoria started to have feelings of regret.
Cosmo, it's really coming down out there. I don't know if it's safe for anyone to travel in this weather. Shouldn't we postpone?
Nonsense, darling. Tonight is much too important.
I don't know why you're keeping me in the dark, Cosmo. This is all very...
I want to surprise you.
You never have before.
She goes to the radio and turns it on. The music plays and she turns down the volume. She dances as she rearranges the cheese plate. Cosmo enters.
The facts were these. In his prime, Cosmo St. Charles was one of the most respected archaeologists in the world. His contributions to the field were impressive, to say the least. Ancient ruins and burial sites, fossils from the earliest known civilization, even the original blueprint for the invention of the wheel. He was the shining star of the archaeological world. But a life of action and adventure was a young man's game. After a particularly embarrassing moment on a dig in Greece, St. Charles decided to settle down and took a position at the nearby university. After a few years of fighting for tenure and listening to students complain about competing deadlines, St. Charles had had enough. He was going to be in the thick of it again, or he was going to die trying.
What?
Dance with me.
They're going to be here any minute.
Victoria Devereaux St. Charles, dance with me.
You hate dancing.
I don't hate it.
She gives him her hand. They dance.
Our wedding. The last time we danced was at our wedding.
Nonsense.
You tripped over your own foot. I had to lead. Daddy muttered about it for the rest of the reception.
Your father doesn't like me.
My father doesn't like anyone.
At our wedding?
Mm.
Well, we'll have to change that.
It's almost time. I have to check on the roast.
She exits. Cosmo goes to the books.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
He picks one up, but before he can open it...
Cosmo?
Hello? You are? Good, good. That's fine, that's fine. Just as long as you can make it before dinner. Very well.
Victoria re-enters.
Who was that?
The solicitor.
At this hour?
I suppose so.
What has the world come to?
Yes, yes.
A bow tie, Cosmo? Must you?
They make me look dignified.
A necktie would look dignified.
As I tell my students, you can always tell a man's deportment by his neckwear. Neckties are for the sloppy and uneducated.
Cosmo, this rain.
It's fine, dear.
The oak tree in the backyard was swaying back and forth.
That old thing is as stalwart as a stone wall. It will be standing tomorrow as sure as I will.
Go get the punch, will you, dear? I don't want everyone drinking the good scotch.
Cosmo kisses her on the cheek and exits. Victoria watches him go. She stands there for a moment, twisting her wedding ring.
Oh. Lord have mercy.
She pours a glass from the decanter.
Who all's coming?
The regular crowd.
Meaning?
Imogene, Avis.
Avis? Is she back?
Yes. She said she wouldn't miss it. Oh, and Dutch.
Dutch?
A marvelous fellow I met while I was guest lecturing the spring before last.
Ah. Another archaeologist?
Anthropologist, actually. He specializes in the political structures of ancient societies. Truly fascinating. You'll love him.
I'm sure I will.
What was that?
I'm sure I will.
She downs the rest of the drink.
Anyone else?
No.
Cosmo!
She smooths out her outfit before opening the door, revealing Imogene, who carries an umbrella.
The facts were these. At 26 3/4 and armed with an IQ of 194 and a crippling lactose intolerance, Imogene Winthrop had been St. Charles research assistant of 3 years. At 13, she was offered multiple scholarships to some of the top educational institutions in the world. Her parents, wanting a normal childhood for their daughter, or perhaps just a normal daughter, declined every offer. Winthrop had yet to get over it. Her psychoanalyst had lost hope she ever would.
Imogene! So nice to see you.
Mrs. St. Charles.
Please, Victoria. Mrs. St. Charles was my mother-in-law. Come on in. It's raining murder out there. Can I take that for you?
Imogene hands over the umbrella, but holds on to it for a moment. Victoria smiles, unsettled, as she tugs it out of Imogene's grip and puts it near the coat rack.
Hors d'oeuvre?
If I even have a nibble, I'm afraid I would spend the entire evening in your lavatory, relieving myself of the contents of my gastrointestinal tract.
Best not then. Cosmo should be out any minute with the drinks. Cosmo? Imogene is here.
Be right out.
Imogene, can I ask you something?
If you must.
Do you know what tonight is all about? Cosmo's being so secretive. It's not like him. He'd never keep secrets from me.
Mrs. St. Charles, if you're asking me to get in the middle of your marriage squabbles, I don't think that would be entirely...
Squabbles? What? No. I want to know if you know anything about his announcement.
What you and the professor talk about in the privacy of your own home is none of my business. There are lines that should never be crossed, Mrs. St. Charles.
I'm not asking you to cross any lines, Imogene.
It certainly seemed like you were.
Not everything is as it seems.
Cosmo comes back in carrying a tray of drinks.
Imogene, glad you could make it.
Is
Rum
that
punch?
Is that the good crystal bowl?
It needed a night out. We're celebrating.
Celebrating?
Yes, more on that later. How's that grant coming along?
It's almost finished. It only needs your recommendation. I left it on your desk to look over a week ago.
Oh, yes, I will. Imogene and some other students of mine are very close to finding the burial tomb of Alexander the Great. Mesopotamia, you say?
Turkey.
Ah, yes.
The deadline's coming up, Professor. People don't like funding this sort of thing. They think it's like a wild goose chase.
Imogene, my girl, after tonight, we will never have to worry about that again. People will be throwing money at us in every direction.
What does that mean?
In due time, my sweet, in due time. The other guests haven't even arrived. Hate to spoil the surprise.
He takes a drink.
Ah, that's damn good punch if I do say so myself.
I think I'll go check on the roast.
Professor? Forgive me for asking such a personal question, but are you all right?
Never better. Why do you ask?
I don't mean to pry into personal affairs.
Have some punch, Imogene. It's a party.
She takes the punch.
There we go. Now, pry away.
Professor, it really is...
We're not in the office, Imogene. Cosmo is fine. Go on.
Cosmo. I've noticed that you've been acting odd these past few months. I've been covering more and more of your classes, which is no issue. The students are fine, and you don't show up for office hours anymore either. You love teaching. You've been isolating yourself for weeks, and you haven't needed me as much. I understand you're working on something, but you've always needed my help with researching. I am your research assistant.
Imogene.
Well, then I get this invite out of the blue. You don't even like parties of any sort.
Yes, I know. It's something Victoria finds tiresome about me.
Is there something I should know?
No, nothing yet. Nothing yet. Trust me, Imogene, the news I have to share tonight, it's to die for.
If you say so, Professor.
Cosmo!
Already up, darling.
He stands and goes to the door. He opens it to reveal Avis.
The facts were these. The only child of Agnes St. Charles, the only sister of Cosmo St. Charles, Captain Avis St. Charles's arrival into the world was a shock to many, given that Agnes never seemed inclined to motherhood, due to her mother's hands-off approach to child rearing. Captain St. Charles found her calling in the clouds, becoming a fighter pilot in the Air Force. When she retired from duty, she reinvented herself as Avis the aviatrix, astounding audiences all over with her awe-inspiring aerobatics.
Here she is, our fabulous flyer. Come in. It's been too long.
It's only been a year, Uncle Cosmo.
A year too long. Look, you're going gray.
Captain Avis St. Charles at your service.
How do you do? Imogene Winthrop.
My research assistant.
Captain, you say?
I'm a pilot.
Not only that, she's Avis the aviatrix, traveling the globe, astounding audiences all over with her awe-inspiring acrobatics.
That's quite amazing.
Punch, Avis?
I'm afraid I've just spotted Aunt Victoria's good scotch. How much trouble would I get into myself if I poured myself a sip?
Just don't steal the whole trough this time around. It took me a whole week to calm her down after your last visit.
Oh, I'll only take a little nip.
She pours a large glass.
What kind of planes do you fly?
All sorts. Different birds for different tricks. I do have a soft spot for Lockheeds. I flew those when I was overseas.
You were in the military.
I was. I got tired of the pissing contests.
So now you're in the entertainment industry?
It keeps me in the air.
Avis is currently on a world tour. From where are you returning to us this time?
South America. Peru, to be exact.
Ah, I have such fond memories of Peru.
You went to Peru?
I was part of an excavation team of recent graduates sent to the Amazon for a few months. There were 15 of us, all fresh-faced and dewy-eyed. We thought we were going to uncover the secret of the century. By the end of it, all we had to show for our efforts was dirt and animal droppings. I myself brought back a souvenir of sorts.
He points to the plant.
A summer's knave, to remind me of my wayward youth. What I wouldn't give to go back.
Why can't you?
Victoria doesn't like to be alone for extended periods of time. She nearly had an aneurysm when I went on my lecturing tour, and that was 2 weeks. Still, things can change.
Avis the aviatrix. Come to think of it, that name sounds familiar. Didn't you have an article written about you not long ago?
The one in the Times.
Yes, that one.
The article about my record for transcontinental flight.
I didn't know you set the record.
That's because the only thing the interviewer wanted to focus on was my outfit and my tips for air hair.
And that doesn't upset you?
It's a boys' club.
But you dedicated your life to it, and yet you don't receive recognition? Nor credit? Nor praise?
I don't let it bother me.
Why not?
Haven't you ever done something solely for the satisfaction of knowing you can do it?
Well, that would be redundant. I can do anything.
That's why you're my go-to gal, Imogene. Anything I need, Imogene can get. Best assistant I ever had. Not like the last one. What was his name? McNabb? McNeely? No matter. The boy could barely tie his shoe. I nearly wept with joy when he transferred to
Alaska.
Alaska. Let's hope his brain doesn't freeze. What's left of it, at least.
Victoria enters, going to look out the window.
What in the world is out in our front lawn?
A Lockheed Model 14 Super Electra.
You flew here?
I had to. The invitation was very last minute.
How marvelous!
Avis, you're here. Lovely.
Aunt Victoria, you look rested.
Helped yourself, I see. Again.
Yeah, sorry. I hope you don't mind. I needed something strong.
No, not at all. It's my fault for leaving it out in the open for public consumption.
It's just a little nip.
I suppose a gulp would empty the entire decanter. The roast should be ready soon. When is your friend getting here?
Friend?
The one that studies ancient whatever it was?
Oh, Dutch! Right. Any moment now, I should think.
Do you think he got lost?
Dutch is absolutely fine. He marches to the beat of his own drum.
Well, he really should march to the beat of a correct timepiece.
Who is this?
A colleague of mine, Dutch. Ralston, there it is, Dutch Ralston the fifth. Dr. Dutch Ralston the fifth.
The fifth? Sounds like old money.
Sniffing, are we?
It's a family name.
I thought I knew all of your colleagues. I've never heard of Dr. Ralston.
This would be a perfect time to introduce you then, wouldn't it?
Well, he better have a good explanation for his tardiness. I have half a mind to start without him.
He's not the only one.
What?
He's not the only one that needs an excuse for being late. Avis was late as well.
The rain was hell.
Imogene drove through the same rain and she was here on time.
I flew here.
I walked here.
What?
I live down the street.
You do? Why didn't you tell us?
I don't see how my living arrangement is relevant information.
Has anyone ever told you you're a strange creature?
I'm a patient woman, Cosmo St. Charles, but I have my limits.
Yes, dear.
Your Dr. Ralston is testing them.
Yes, dear.
It's positively uncivil.
Yes, dear. Come now. Relax. Avis was just about to tell us about her latest adventure.
Oh, I'm much more interested in what you've been working on, Uncle Cosmo.
Nonsense. No one wants to hear about exams and lectures. Not when you have stories from the farthest reaches of the world.
Oh, I doubt it's all exams and lectures, Uncle Cosmo.
No. That's all it's been. Right, Imogene?
I would venture to say that it's
When was the last time you visited your mother?
Oh, well...
We should go see her. What do you think, Victoria? A quick jaunt to France?
I suppose. It would have to be the end of summer, though. September, maybe.
No, as soon as possible.
Cosmo, the school year is not...
It's almost over. I'm sure Imogene can handle my classes. Can't you, Imogene?
I could.
Cosmo, we are not dropping everything to go visit Agnes in France.
Avis does it all the time. In fact, she can fly us there herself. Can't you,
I'm not
Avis?
boarding that giant hunk of flying metal if she's the one in the driver's seat.
Cockpit.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know why you're not spontaneous anymore.
I'm spontaneous.
Then go to France with me tomorrow.
No!
By the end of tonight, you'll be packing for France. I'll bet my life on it.
That never gets old.
Cosmo, you're hiding something.
No, I'm not.
You are.
I'm not.
Are.
Not.
Are.
Not.
Are.
Not.
Not.
Are.
What is it?
I can't tell you yet.
That's it. I'm setting the table. Imogene, Avis, would you help me, please? My husband shall wait for his guest alone.
She exits. She takes the punch tray. Imogene follows. Cosmo stands. He sets down his punch.
Excuse me, I must check on something.
He exits. Avis looks around for a moment before going to the phone. She picks it up and dials.
Alpha, Tango, Lima, Alpha, November, Tango, India, Sierra. I'm here. It seems our intel was correct. He hasn't given any details, but he definitely knows something. He's squirrelier than usual. Yes, sir. No, I know how important this is. With all due respect, my personal connection is the reason I was assigned to this case in the first place. I would never let my emotions cloud my judgment. Yes, sir. I understand. I will take care of it. Roger that, over and out.
She takes a sip of her drink.
Avis!
Avis swiftly takes Cosmo's abandoned glass and exits. Cosmo rushes on and opens the door to reveal Dutch.
Facts were these. We didn't have one fact about this man. There were no records of a Dutch Ralston the Fifth, or a Dutch Ralston the Fourth, or a Dutch Ralston the Third. There was a Dutch Ralston the Second, but he died in 1756 of scarlet fever with no surviving relatives. Dutch Ralston II was a lonely man, by all accounts. Sources indicate that he worked as a blacksmith, shoeing horses and the like. He worked alone all day and then went home every night to an empty house. He had a soft spot for children. He probably wanted a family of his own, but like so many others, never found the right. Not the time?
You're late.
The rain was hell.
That's no excuse.
Look, pal, you are lucky. You better be thankful that I'm here at all, huh? The boss isn't happy.
I know, but he will be by the end of the night.
You better hope so.
Is that Dr. Ralston?
Yes, dear. Listen to me. You're not you, okay? You are Dr. Dutch Ralston the Fifth. We met when I guest lectured at your university. You came down to visit. Got it?
The Fifth.
It's a family name.
Victoria enters.
Dr. Ralston, so glad you could join us.
Dutch.
Victoria.
You have a lovely home.
Thank you. That's so kind of you to say.
Ooh, I must explain my tardiness.
Oh, are you tardy? I didn't notice.
Imogene enters and heads straight to Dutch.
Ah, yes, Dr. Ralston, this is Imogene Winthrop, my research assistant.
How do you do?
Likewise.
Cosmo looks at the door. Avis comes back with the drink tray.
Ah, yes, let's all have a drink, shall we? Avis, this is Dr. Dutch Ralston the Fifth.
Hey, is that your plane out there?
It is.
Do I know you? You have a very familiar face.
You've never seen this man's face in your life.
I'm sure I've seen you before. Maybe outside the library?
That's preposterous, Imogene. Why would Dr. Ralston be at our library?
Yeah, I don't even go in libraries.
You don't?
Books make me nervous.
I've never heard of a professor with bibliophobia.
Fear of books.
Oh. Well, I teach economics. You don't need books for economics, do you?
I thought you were an anthropologist.
I am. I go back and forth.
How fascinating.
Can you do that?
Yes.
What's your specialty, Dr. Ralston? Anthropologically speaking.
He's an expert on the political structures of ancient societies.
Yes. Yes, I am.
In fact, he was on an expedition in Egypt this last summer.
Doing what?
I was in a tomb.
Whose tomb?
I haven't decided that yet.
It was probably a tomb for slaves and servants. If it was royalty, you would have known, as I'm sure you know.
There were mummies and skeletons of mummies.
I'm sure that rain was exhausting. Please, sit down and have a drink.
Dutch doesn't sit down, but he does take a glass of punch. He turns away to study the room. Cosmo goes to look out the window.
Cosmo, what are you doing?
Nothing. Waiting.
For what? Dr. Ralston was the last guest to arrive. I didn't win Miss Goldman Golden Manners to throw it all away on a mediocre dinner party.
We haven't given a tour.
What?
A tour of our lovely home. You love doing that, don't you, my sweet?
Cosmo, the time is...
It's our party, sweetheart. We have all the time in the world.
I do like to show off the ballroom.
The ballroom?
Of course there's a ballroom. We're not destitute.
Oh.
Do you dance, Dr. Ralston?
I'm be known to cut a rug or two, if the mood is right.
Well then, let's hope it is. Come along.
Dutch puts down the glass. They all exit except for Cosmo.
I'll be with you in a moment, darling. Don't forget to point out the scones.
Sconces! They're sconces!
Wonderful. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
He sees the glass of punch Dutch left. He takes a sip.
Oh!
Cosmo St. Charles lies dead on the floor, punch spilt.
The facts were these. World-renowned archaeologist Dr. Cosmo St. Charles literally dropped dead while hosting an out-of-character dinner party on Friday, March 17th at 8:06 p.m.
Victoria, Dutch, Imogene, and Avis all re-enter.
That's strange. Usually the electrical holds firm during storms like this.
I never knew you had so many rooms, Mrs. St. Charles.
Well, I am accustomed to a certain lifestyle.
But it begs the question, does one need a conservatory and a library?
Cosmo likes to keep us comfortable. Speaking of which, Cosmo, where are you?
It was at this moment Victoria St. Charles located the whereabouts of her husband, Cosmo St. Charles.
They all look at the body.
Doesn't look comfortable to me.
At least that's what I think happened. No, I'm remembering it wrong. It was Avis who found him. It was Avis.
That's strange. Usually the electrical holds firm during storms like this.
I never knew you had so many rooms, Mrs. St. Charles.
Well, I am accustomed to a certain lifestyle.
Why do you have a billiard room and a hall? I didn't even know Uncle Cosmo played the billiard sports.
He tries. He has trouble getting small objects into the right holes.
Where is he? Ah, found him.
Victoria stands to see what she's looking at and promptly faints into Dutch's arms.
No, it was Dutch who found him.
That's strange. Usually the electrical holds firm during storms like this.
I never knew you had so many rooms, Mrs. St. Charles.
Well, I am accustomed to a certain lifestyle.
A kitchen and a dining room. That's really something.
Oh, you have an absolutely terrible sense of humor, Dr. Ralston.
Victoria flirts with him. Dutch starts to flirt back, but snaps out of it when he remembers Avis and Imogene are there. He steps back and trips over Cosmo's body. Victoria screams and faints. No one catches her.
That's even more wrong somehow. Does it really matter who found the body in the end? No. Just know that it was most definitely found and that Mrs. St. Charles most definitely fainted.
Scene 3. The body is gone. The glass is still there. Imogene is on the phone. Victoria, draped across the chaise lounge, mumbles nonsense while Avis very awkwardly puts a cold compress on her forehead. Imogene hangs up the phone.
It's going to take time for the police to get here. Rain's not letting up. Not that there's much they can do at this point. He's dead.
Tact, Ms. Winthrop, tact.
Dutch re-enters.
I put him on the bed.
We shouldn't have moved him.
I've done this before. I'm a doctor, I remember. I work with dead bodies all the time.
Those are skeletons, not fresh meat.
The police will handle it.
Oh, the police?
They're on their way.
I just remember. I have another engagement, a class, lecture.
The police will need your statement.
Oh, I can miss it. The academic decathlon. Huh?
It's nearly impossible to drive in this weather.
Well, I take my chances.
Oh, Dr. Ralston, Dutch, please don't leave. Not in my hour of need. I would feel so much more at ease if you stayed.
Look, lady, I just...
Dutch walks to the farthest corner away from the door. Victoria runs to it.
Thank God you're here, officers. Something dreadful is... Oh!
Cosmo's identical twin brother Felix enters. He looks exactly like his brother, but he wears a necktie.
Uncle Felix?
The facts were these. Dr. Felix St. Charles was Dr. Cosmo St. Charles' identical twin brother. Like his brother, Dr. St. Charles, Dr. St. Charles was an archaeologist. However, Felix had always felt overshadowed by his twin, even from birth. Cosmo entered the world 6 minutes and 28 seconds before Felix, and throughout his life, Felix St. Charles was never able to shake the feeling that he was always going to be 6 minutes and 28 seconds behind.
The hell is going on here?
Dutch exits towards the bedroom.
Uncle Cosmo died.
My God, what happened?
No idea. We only just found him.
At what time?
How the hell should we know what time?
8:06 p.m. I have an excellent internal clock.
Damn. Is she all right?
She's processing.
Dutch re-enters. He stares at Felix.
Who are you?
I asked you first.
Don't push me, Paul.
Dr. St. Charles, archaeologist.
He's dead. I checked.
He's Felix St. Charles, Uncle Cosmo's twin brother.
They didn't tell me he had a twin.
They.
What are you doing here, Uncle Felix?
Cosmo didn't tell you?
As far as I know, you and Uncle Cosmo haven't spoken in years.
So you didn't know I was coming?
Negative.
May I see him?
Negative.
We should get her off the ground.
Dr. Ralston, do you mind? Oh, and you too, Uncle Felix.
Avis, Dutch, Felix, and Imogene all pick up Victoria off the floor.
I haven't picked so many bodies up of floors in age. I never done this. I hope I don't pull the muscle. Yeah, I need all of my muscles for all the riding I do.
Just as they're about to put her on the chaise lounge,
Open up.
they drop Victoria.
I gotta get out of here.
He starts to look for an exit. Avis goes to the door.
No, wait.
She opens the door. Mac enters.
Right, let's make this quick. Name's Marlowe. Mac Marlowe.
You're the police?
I'm the authority figure in this room. Got a problem with that, pal? One Dr. Cosmo St. Charles?
He's dead.
Dead? Damn, Storm. Where is he?
In the bedroom down the hall.
Names in relation to the deceased?
I'm Captain Avis St. Charles. I'm his niece.
Imogene Winthrop. Was his research assistant.
Felix St. Charles, his brother.
Sir?
Oh, Dr. Ralston, Dutch Ralston the third, not the fifth. Yeah, I forgot a couple of grandfathers. Huh?
Uh-huh.
I teach economics.
And anthropology.
Yeah, that too.
And this one?
His wife, Victoria.
Dead?
No, she's processing.
Uh-huh. No one else coming in or out of this house?
I arrived after it happened.
How long after?
6 minutes and 28 seconds.
What was that?
6 minutes and 28 seconds.
The incident, it occurred in the bedroom?
No, it happened right here. We moved him.
You moved? You never moved the body.
Told ya.
Show me exactly where you found him.
Dutch, Avis, and Imogene take one big step back to reveal the punch stain.
What's this?
Rum punch. Uncle Cosmo was drinking it.
It's a truly awful concoction.
You're the one who moved the body. Take me to it?
Well, I'd rather not. Huh?
Yes, well, I'd rather not be dealing with a stiff, so I guess we're both shit out of luck. Huh?
Dutch and Mac move toward the exit.
No one touch anything. Got it?
Got it.
Got it.
Good.
Dutch and Mac exit.
Oh, my head.
Avis helps Victoria onto a chair.
The police are here.
Police? Why?
Uncle Cosmo, well,
He's dead.
Cosmo's not dead. He was dead, but he came back. I opened the door. I saw him.
that was Uncle Felix.
Why would Felix be here? Felix would never come.
Hello,
Cosmo.
Felix.
Felix?
Victoria.
Felix.
Victoria.
Cosmo.
Felix.
That's it.
Oh.
It. You're processing.
Would you stop that?
He can't be. He just can't be. My husband can't be.
Mac and Dutch enter.
He's dead. Mrs. St. Charles, I presume. I need to see the entire house to get the full picture.
Where do you want to start? The conservatory? The library?
Avis, Imogene, Mac, and Dutch all begin to exit.
The billiard room? The hall?
The ballroom, huh?
Ballroom?
Of course, there's a ballroom. They're not destitute.
What are you doing here?
Cosmo didn't tell you?
Tell me what?
Unbelievable.
Keep your voice down.
Mac re-enters unseen.
He's always been selfish, Victoria. Always. I never
He
understood
is
why.
my husband. I love him.
For 3 days. What happened on day 4, Victoria? Oh, that's right. You met me.
I won't hear this, and I won't respond to it.
You've always known that I was the better brother, but he was more successful, richer.
Handsomer. Your eyelid droops slightly more on the left.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Does not.
Does.
Not.
Does.
Not.
Does.
Does.
Not.
Ah!
Felix, what we had, it was passionate, I admit. Primal, feral, tantric. But it's in the past. And it will stay in the past. Are we clear?
Mac exits. Victoria exits and Felix follows. After a long moment, Dutch enters. He goes to the phone. He picks it up and dials.
Hey, it's me, boss. Yeah. Our little issue is resolved. I told you I wouldn't let you down. What happened? Well, I came here. Of course I'm still here. Well, you told me you wanted to know as soon as it was done. It's done. The police are here. Yeah, just one. Marlowe. Mark Marlowe. A bit short, height-wise and personality-wise. Not really a people person. What do you mean you never heard of... Okay, jeez, Bob, sorry. Oh, sorry. Sorry, boss. Yeah. No, I got a handle. Yeah. Nothing's gonna... All right, I'm going, huh? Shh.
Dutch tries to make his way to the door. Imogene enters.
Where are you going?
Well, I told you. Academic decathlon, huh? Has someone ever told you that you're a little unnerving, huh?
Avis, Mac, Victoria, and Felix enter.
There's good news and bad news.
What's the bad news?
It's impossible for anyone to go anywhere in this rain, so we're stuck here until it stops.
With the body?
With the body.
Oh.
And none of us can leave.
Not until I get the all clear.
When will that be?
Yeah, come on. What's the meaning of this?
I'm only following protocol here, sir.
Well, what's the good news?
There's no good news.
This is unacceptable. My brother's dead body is in the other room.
Before we proceed any further with tonight's entertainment, you all must know that I have concluded 2 very important facts thus far. Cosmo St. Charles is dead, and someone in this room killed him.
Scene 4.
That's definitely not how it happened.
What's the meaning of this?
I'm only following protocol here, sir.
What's the good news?
There is no good news.
This is unacceptable. My brother's dead body is in the other room.
Oh. Oh.
I understand, sir. I'm sorry for your loss.
Don't you think it's a bit cruel to force her to stay here in the state she's in?
I can take it somewhere. A hotel, a bar, or a friend's house.
She doesn't have any friends.
It's not safe to drive.
No one is allowed to leave the property. It's the law.
So we're prisoners now, huh? Do we look like prisoners to you?
I'm calling the mayor. This is an outrage.
You know the mayor?
I know the mayor.
Felix goes to the phone and picks it up. He slams it down.
Phone lines are shot.
Avis goes to the decanter.
I know this isn't the ideal situation, but it's the one we're in. In the meantime, I will take your full individual witness statements.
Now?
No time like the present.
Are we suspects or something?
No, I'm just following protocol.
It was probably heart problems because he had heart problems.
If it was an accident, why do you have to take a statement?
I'm just following protocol.
Why does it have to be individual?
So the detective can tell if our stories aren't straight. Divide and conquer.
You really know your interrogation tactics, don't you, guy?
No.
It's just a couple of routine questions. I'm questioning you one-on-one so I don't get mixed up for the report. You can all wait in another room, just don't leave. You would look immediately guilty. Very, very guilty.
They all exit.
The facts were these. Cosmo St. Charles was dead. Someone in this room killed him. Only 2 people knew the true cause of his death, myself and the killer. But the killer didn't know that I knew what they knew. They thought that I knew what they wanted me to know, but I knew what they knew, and by the end of the night, they were going to know that I knew what they knew. Everything I needed to solve this case was right here in this room, and I had already met the killer. It was just a matter of drawing them out.
Max studies the glass, the plant. They go through books. They pick up the one that Cosmo picked up earlier. 2 notes fall out of it. Mac picks them up and reads. They put the notes in their pocket. Felix enters.
You're an archaeologist yourself, correct, Dr. St. Charles?
Correct. Cosmo and I were a team before he abandoned me.
What do you mean?
Do you want to know why Cosmo and I became archaeologists? It wasn't because of the fame and fortune, or the extravagance with which he now lives his life. Who needs a study and a library? It's redundant. No, We became archaeologists to uncover the greatest mystery of all time, Atlantis.
Atlantis.
You know, the long-lost ancient island civilization said to be buried underwater in the Atlantic Ocean.
Sure.
Cosmo and I read a story about it when we were boys, and we swore to each other that we would find Atlantis. Everything was going according to plan until the day Cosmo realized that no one would take our claims seriously. I told him it was a long game, but Cosmo never did have that much stamina. He just wanted to be revered, respected. I told him we would have all of that and more when we found it. But he didn't listen to me. So he went off digging for junk in all those same old places, doing the same old things.
But you stuck with it.
I stuck with it. Everyone laughed at me. Cosmo didn't speak to me. He didn't want to ruin his reputation. 10 years of radio silence. Then one day, a couple of weeks ago, he drops by. He asked if he could borrow a book and took off. Probably has it around here somewhere.
Dr. St. Charles.
Right, sorry. Next time I hear from him, he's inviting me to this dinner party. And he didn't tell anyone I was coming. I even phoned earlier this evening to say I was running late.
He exits. Victoria enters and sits down, now calm. Mac goes to her, notepad at the ready.
Mrs. St. Charles, you seem calmer.
Whatever do you mean, detective? I was always calm.
Was your husband exhibiting some odd behavior at all, Mrs. St. Charles?
Cosmo was always an odd duckling, I admit, but he was acting strange for weeks now. It all came to a head when he told me he wanted to have a dinner party.
Is that strange?
Cosmo didn't like parties of any sort, much less hosting them. It's one of the things I loved most about him.
Mrs. St. Charles, what kind of archaeology did your husband specialize in again?
He was mostly interested in... Oh, goodness. You know what? I actually have no idea.
You don't know what your husband specialized in?
Whenever he talked about his work, I would tune out. I never understood a thing he was saying, and I found it incredibly tedious. I loved my husband deeply, but one doesn't have to look deep to see that ours wasn't a marriage of the minds.
Uh-huh.
Now that you mention it, Cosmo would always get a crazed look in his eye whenever he talked about lost civilizations, especially that one. What was it? Oh, it started with an O or an I? One of the vowels.
Atlantis?
That's the one. I do listen.
Someone mentioned he had heart problems.
Yes, Felix has it too.
How do you know that?
It's genetic.
Your relationship with your brother-in-law.
Strained, of course. I was always Cosmo's.
The last thing he drank was the rum punch, correct?
Yes.
Who had access to it?
We all did. Except Felix, of course. It's going to be such a bore trying to clean his mess. I can turn the study into a second lounge. Ooh, the ladies at bridge will be seething with envy.
She exits. Avis enters.
What kind of person parks a plane on a lawn?
I didn't have time to catch a cab.
You were in the military, you said?
I was. I was the best they had, too. My skipper used to tell me I had fangs out too much. I was itching for a fight.
Oh.
But hey, the boys were too. So I didn't see why
You still itching for a fight?
every once in a while, sure. But it's not like it was before, not after the crash.
Crash?
A routine mission went south. I went down over the Atlantic, a real Charlie Foxtrot. They found me a few days later, banged up but alive, parachuted out and everything. I don't remember it.
You miss it?
A little. My new job's not as exciting as my old one. Some barrel rolls and a few loop-de-loops and the crowd goes nuts. Child's play. But as long as I can still fly, I'm good.
Did you have access to the rum punch this evening?
Yes? Why?
I'm only trying to create a 3-dimensional story with depths and layers, full picture stuff, you understand. Planes have names, right? Like ships?
Sure do. That beauty out there is utopia.
Like someplace where everything is perfect?
Exactly.
Avis exits. Imogene enters. Sits next to Mac.
Miss Winthrop, did anything suspicious occur here tonight?
Dr. Ralston.
What about him?
He's a fraud. He claims he's an anthropologist, so did the professor, but I know every name of every professor teaching at a university level, and I had never heard of him before. Anthropologists don't dress like that, and they don't go back and forth from anthropology to economics.
This is the first time you've seen him?
Not exactly. The professor said this was impossible, but I swear I've seen him around the campus. I never forget a face.
Did you handle the punch at all?
Yes, I poured it into the glasses when Mrs. St. Charles forced me into the kitchen.
Do you know what plant that is?
It's a summer's knave. It's Peruvian.
Miss Winthrop, did St. Charles ever mention the lost civilization of Atlantis to you?
Once or twice, in jest.
In jest?
He told me that's how he got into archaeology in the first place. He wanted to find it. Once he realized it was a fairy tale, he moved on to more substantial work.
Imogene exits. Dutch enters.
How did you meet Cosmo St. Charles?
When he gets a lecture in my school.
Your university?
Yeah.
Remind me, what university would that be again?
Our Lady of Sweet Alleviation. It's Episcopalian.
Where's that?
Wyoming.
What's it like in Wyoming?
Oh, it's great. Everything moves so fast from here to there. Just hustle and bustle. Everyone's running around trying to get from place to place. That's Wyoming.
I didn't know Wyoming was so metropolitan.
Nobody does. It's underappreciated when it comes to things of that nature. See, Wyoming might not be as big or fancy as a lot of other metropolitan areas, but it's still got a lot to offer, huh? It might not be traditional in his lifestyle and culture, and hey, maybe he doesn't want to follow the footsteps of other places. Maybe Wyoming wants to do something different than New York or Massachusetts or Rhode Island. But that doesn't mean that it should be scorned and pushed aside, okay, Pop? My father hates cheese.
What kind of name is Dutch?
It's a family name. My full name is Dutch Son.
Dutch son.
Dutch Son, it's Swedish.
Dutch leaves.
What was that?
The great oak!
Mac, not paying attention, only stuffs one note back in their pocket. They exit. Felix enters.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Felix finds the book and the note. He reads. His eyes go wide with understanding.
Coordinates. Their coordinates! He was going to take all the credit. That bastard was going to take all the... Wait. He can't take credit anymore. He's dead. Oh, this is fantastic. Simply fantastic. I don't have to share this with anyone.
He dances. He goes to the radio. Static. He dances. He goes to the decanter. He pours himself a glass. He drinks.
Hello?
Felix St. Charles lies dead on the floor. The note is missing. Victoria, Avis, Dutch, and Imogene re-enter.
After all the work I put into the landscaping, the blood, the sweat, the tears, I had to interview so many gardeners.
Mac enters.
Oh, another one.
Victoria, overwhelmed, faints into Dutch's arms.
Oh.
Scene 5. The body is gone. The one note is still on the floor.
The facts were these. Felix St. Charles was dead, and someone in this room killed him. He was strangled. Time of death, 9:12 p.m. Exactly 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 28 seconds behind his brother.
Victoria, draped across the chaise lounge, mumbles nonsense while Imogene very awkwardly puts a cold compress on her forehead. Avis is sitting in one of the winged back chairs. Dutch enters from the bedroom.
They're both on the bed.
I thought moving the body was against protocol.
2 murders in one night. Think I'd catch a break.
Murders?
Yes. Murder.
Murder?
Felix didn't just crush his windpipe for the fun of it.
But you said murders. Plural.
Did I?
You did.
2 murders.
That means
Cosmo? Who would do such a thing?
Obviously, it's one of us. We're the only ones in the house. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out.
Why didn't you tell me my husband had been murdered?
because you needed the killer to think they weren't under suspicion.
That's right. Very clever.
Not discussing relevant information probably is in protocol. I gotta say, you're not a very good detective.
Show us your badge.
I forgot it at the station.
You forgot it?
At the station.
Well, that's convenient.
Is it?
You know what I think? I think I'm an anthropologist.
Do you now?
As an anthropologist, I study people. Yes, I study people, so I know when someone is lying. And you, detective, are lying.
Who are you?
Mac Marlowe, PI.
You're a dick.
A private one.
But I called the police. Why aren't they here?
The rain is hell.
How did you get here so fast then?
Simple. I was already here. Cosmo came into my office about a week ago, see? He said he couldn't give me details, but he had a feeling that something might happen to him tonight, and that he needed me to just watch from outside and intervene if something fishy happened. I usually don't take the no questions asked job, but he persuaded me. It was worth my interest. My instructions were to wait outside to watch for something fishy to go down. I was about to go in when I heard the screams the first time around, but then...
You saw Uncle Felix.
Twins, man. They always get you. Still, something kept nudging the back of my head. I had to see for myself what was going on.
That is a ridiculous story.
It's the one I'm going with. Now, I'm about to put the puzzle pieces of all of it together, so if any of you would like to confess now, it would help hurry this thing along. Going once? Going twice? Okay then. This is my favorite part. What? The murders of Dr. Cosmo and Felix St. Charles, archaeologists. When? This very night. Where? This very room. How? As stated previously, Felix was strangled. Furthermore, I've deduced that Cosmo was poisoned by rum punch
Ooh.
Oh.
with that plant,
Huh?
What?
with the sap from that plant.
Oh.
This plant looks innocent enough, right? Wrong. Encased in these leaves is a poison that is odorless, tasteless, and dissolves in liquid, practically undetectable. Perfect for a nefarious plot. The killer put it in the rum punch, a drink that only Cosmo would consume tonight.
How do you know it was poison if the poison is undetectable?
I said practically undetectable. When it comes into contact with human saliva, the poison turns purple. As I examined the body earlier, I noticed that the elder St. Charles's mouth was practically indigo.
What's missing?
I believe it's the who and the why.
Exactly. And I have the why partially covered.
Why?
Atlantis.
Atlantis?
Oh, good Lord. Is that what this is about? Cosmo gave that wild goose chase up years ago. Just because he talked about it doesn't mean he was going to find it.
Be so sure about that.
Don't be preposterous.
He was aloof for weeks. No one knew what he was working on. He insisted on throwing an out-of-character dinner party. He had an important announcement that would change the course of history forever.
He found it. He found Atlantis?
We can't be sure without the professor's notes, which we don't have.
Yes, we do.
Mac goes to the books and picks up a note. They look around for the other one.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Where's what?
This is only half. There's a missing Felix. He must have taken it, but it wasn't on his corpse. So that means the killer has the other note.
What?
Let me see everything you have on your persons. It was foolproof, right? Felix was the last one with both notes, so whoever killed him had to take one. And whoever killed one brother killed the other. I sometimes lie awake at night, thinking about how it could have gone so wrong. Let me see everything you have on your persons.
How vulgar.
Just do it. Dr. Ralston, your pockets, if you please.
I'd rather not.
Why is that?
Hey, I know my rights, huh?
Mrs. St. Charles, where did your husband go in this lecture tour?
Imogene?
He went along the East Coast.
Didn't you say you met Dr. St. Charles at your university, Dr. Ralston?
Did I?
You did. And didn't you say that said university was in Wyoming? But Dr. St. Charles's tour was only along the East Coast, nowhere near Wyoming.
We have two locations, huh?
This man is a fraud.
No shit, Sherlock.
Hey.
Dr. Ralston?
He's not an expert on economics or anthropology, but he is an expert on the Bianchi crime family.
The mobsters?
The very same.
What did they have to do with this?
Cosmo St. Charles found Atlantis, but he needed someone to bankroll for his expedition. And while he applied for legitimate funding, he knew that it was a long shot. So he went to the Bianchis, finally becoming a made man. Huh, Frankie?
Who?
Making your old man proud?
I.
Here's what happened. St. Charles borrowed a little too much. So you were sent to keep an eye on him. You would go to campus, make sure he was keeping his end of the deal, and that's why Imogene recognized you.
I never forget a face.
But St. Charles didn't keep his end, did he, Frankie? So you had to do what you had to do. Your pop wouldn't be too happy with you if you came back empty-handed. Yeah. Must have been rough growing up. Your mother's favorite, but your father can't even look at you in the eye. Aw. Come on, Frank. You and I both know the game's over. Might as well talk.
I never wanted this life, huh? All the violence and death. It's just not me. I wanted to be a dancer, huh? like them fellas in the pictures. But Pop, he wanted me to get my head on straight, huh? I thought that when I actually commit to it, that I like it. Oh, kill two birds with one stone, he said. I told the dog that I was interested in exotic plants.
Horticulture.
Like that's a word. I would love a leaf, for my collection.
And he bought that?
You can't really say no to the son of the mob boss you owe money to, huh? Hey, your ballroom is really nice. Sorry I killed your husband.
What about Felix?
Well, Pop said no loose ends.
So you're not from old money?
Or it could have gone like this. Let me see everything you have on your persons.
How vulgar.
Just do it.
Let's cut the bullshit.
You killed Cosmo St. Charles.
I did.
You sniveling little she-demon.
Oh, please. You should be kissing the ground I walk on. I did you a favor.
You killed Felix St. Charles.
I did. Although that was unplanned.
You don't seem the unplanned type.
I'm not, usually. I didn't just plan for my own partner to turn on me.
Partner?
Felix.
Felix, why?
Oh, it really is so tedious being the smartest one in the room all the time. When the professor started to get secretive, I was okay with it. When he started to do research without me, I was peeved, but fine. But when he started to go after my funding, the funding my team and I had been working on for weeks, that's when he crossed the line. I had been his loyal assistant for 3 years, researching, never once getting the credit I was due. He treated me, a person of great intellectual superiority, like a common troglodyte. And now he was going to steal my funding? I knew he was onto something big, and he didn't have the decency to share it with me, the person who's been by his side all these years. That's when I called Felix. He was doing the same thing to me he did to Felix. He pushed us out so that he could hog the glory. Well, not on my watch. I put the poison in the rum punch when we refilled the glasses.
We could have died.
I admit it was a calculated risk, but I also know that Cosmo would be the only one drinking it.
And Felix?
I overheard him. He was going to do what his brother did. He was going to take all the credit, so I did what I had to do.
Or maybe this. Let me see everything you have on your persons.
How vulgar.
Why did you kill your husband, Mrs. St. Charles?
I'd be very careful if I were you. My father's a judge, and he doesn't take kindly to people accusing his little girl of murder.
If you didn't do it, you don't have the note.
I don't. See?
What's that thing sticking out of your brassiere then?
Victoria quickly stuffs the note back in her bra.
This is ridiculous. Why would I kill my husband? I loved him.
You loved a St. Charles brother, but it wasn't Cosmo, was it?
Of course it was.
Then what was that conversation I overheard between you and Felix?
You heard that? I was more connected, in a way, to Felix than I was to Cosmo. But Cosmo...
Had more money.
Right.
When did you discover that he found Atlantis?
He was acting strange these last few weeks, so I went snooping, like every good wife should. I found his papers. Everyone thinks I'm dumb, but I picked up some things being married to an archaeologist.
So you decided to kill him?
He was going to leave her. This new discovery would take St. Charles around the world. First to uncover the island, then to multiple world tours. He would never come home, would he? He would divorce you. And where would you be? Penniless, back in Goldman, that's where. That just wouldn't do, would it?
Fine. You got me. I took the sap from that ugly, wretched plant and I put it in his glass. No one leaves Victoria Devereaux behind.
And Felix? He loved you. He wouldn't have left you behind.
Oh, bless your heart.
Or perhaps this. Let me see everything you have on your persons.
How vulgar.
Just do it. Captain?
I didn't do it. I'm just a pilot.
A pilot with military training. Someone who has no qualms with death.
This is absurd.
Do you know that Plato describes Atlantis as a utopia?
How do you know that?
It's right over there. I found it a funny coincidence that your plane is also called Utopia. Furthermore, Atlantis is rumored to be somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. I'm guessing near the area your plane went down.
I have nothing to say.
Atlantis is real, isn't it, Avis? You've seen it with your own eyes. What's so important that made you kill your own flesh and blood, your family?
Family? I don't have a family. My mother felt stuck with me. Cosmo didn't pay attention to me until I made a name for myself. Felix was Felix. And you, Victoria, you're no walk in the park either. When I went down, I thought, this is it, and I blacked out. The next thing I knew, I was on land, surrounded by strange people, a strange culture, nothing I'd ever seen before. They took care of me more than anyone else has. Once I recovered, I swore to keep their secret safe, protected.
So when Cosmo got close to discovering the truth,
I was protecting my family.
it didn't happen that way. None of it happened that way. Let me see everything you have on your persons.
How vulgar.
Just do it.
Everyone pulls out what they have on them for inspection. No one has the note.
The cops finally showed up after that. They took everyone down to the station, but there wasn't enough evidence for a solid conviction. I left the St. Charles residence that night with 4 suspects, 2 bodies, 1 note, and 0 leads. There was a bit of a dry spell for me after that, but I managed to pull through. There's 3 things that you can count on in life: death, taxes, and cheating husbands. All told, my life is pretty good. As good as it can be. But when I lie awake at night, the one thought on repeat is always the same. Cosmo St. Charles is dead, and someone in this room killed him.
Let's give a round of applause to our wonderful cast. Well done, folks. Awesome. Stick around. In a few minutes here on Facebook Live, we'll be having a talk back where you can ask us those burning questions. And make sure you check out our Facebook page to see what we're up to and what virtual offerings we are working to bring you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye.